Hi, this is Nelson Ranch. So the balance changes were announced a while ago, um, and I waited till now to do them because it takes a long time to actually translate all this and think about all this. But anyway, let's talk about this. So it was announced on February 16th, and it's going to go into effect on the February 24th. So it's pretty freaking long. You can kind of see why I didn't really want to do this, but I felt that this was important. So I've translated, the relevant parts. I think the relevant parts. So let's get started. All right. So up here it says that the first change is going to be an update to the changing the parameters of the following characters and their training. This is probably going to be pretty minor. It's going to go from like change things that do like +5 to +10. Pretty minor. I don't think it's that important. So this is all the list of the characters that's going to happen to. This is basically a general buff. The New Year's event is also going to change. So instead of increasing by +10, +20, +20 for the first year, and then +30, +5 to all stats, and then +30, to skill points in the third year. Well, in the second year, from the first year to the second year, and then from the second year to the third year. Uh, some or all of these numbers are going to increase. They're going to get buffed. Apparently, when you go out with your Musume, certain events were supposed to happen. It happened by chance. Now they will happen definitely. Probably the most important that people care about is the crane game. Like I personally don't really care that much about the crane game, but the crane game event will now definitely happen. But it'll happen only once only. And it only happens after year 2, so it won't happen in your first year. So if you want to do the crane game, just wait till you're into year 2, and then just you go out with your Uma Smith and do the crane game. I know that if you get like more than 10 of those dolls, you get like a special title. So uh, the compatibility bonus system will change. This is actually pretty important, I think. So this is number 3. The compatibility bonus will change, and what's going to happen is that, well, for starters, Haru Urara's compatibility is going to be buffed. Right now, it's utter and total crap. I don't know how many of you people have noticed this, but if you ever try to get Haru Urara to, increase in uh, turf or distance, it's a real pain. This is part of the reason why the Haru Urara Arima Kiren challenge was so difficult for so long. Uh, it's like, they put in these changes after I did the Arima Kiren challenge. So I wish they happened earlier. But beyond that, the other important thing is that apparently only G1 changes are going to have an impact. At least that's what it seems like they're saying. The G1 races will have an impact. Previously, the G2 and the G3 races also had an impact on raising your compatibility. So this is part of the reason why not everybody, but a lot of people did their, parent run and grandparents run and make a new track, because in make a new track, you just run all the damn races, including G2 and G3G. So, and that racked up your compatibility points, and it was actually pretty easy to get your compatibility to, double circle. Now it's only gonna, only the G1 races will apply. So if only the G1 races will apply, this basically now means that you don't have to make a new track anymore. You can do URA, you can do Alharu, and you can do the newest one, Grand Live. Although I suspect that many people will probably still do make a new track, because make a new track gives you that flexibility. So if you're going to raise a character that's specifically designed to be a grandparent or a parent, then what you probably want to do is you want them to run all the same G1 races. So for example, if you have a character like, Brian, or like uh, uh, Major Orion, they run, the Satsuki show, then the Derby, and then the Kikka show. So, that's set if you do the other three, and probably the fourth one as well. But if you do the other scenarios, you are set in stone in doing that. But if you happen to want to get also, the skill for Mejido Dober being a mayor, has to run the Okasho, the Oaks, and the Shukasho. So, 3 G1 races would be different. So, it might make more sense to basically do, if you're going to do like a mid-distance character, to basically make a new track and get Ryan or whoever to run the Okasho, uh, the Oaks, and the Shukasho, and get Dober to run those three as well. And then, those 3 G1 races will overlap with each other instead of not overlapping, because, the scenario forces you into it. But I think it'll be different depending on who you're running. So the point is that, the flexibility is back. Well, but, there's more flexibility now than before. You don't have to be wedded to make a new track. You can do the others. So that will actually make a huge difference. I suspect what this also means is that if you have a lot of characters that run dirt, then you want to actually, so like for like Ricky, for example, you want to get characters to run both dirt and miles. So if you're doing the parents runs, then you want to raise their turf to like B so that they can run, uh, you know, grass races as well. It's going to be a real pain. But anyway, I'll put that aside. All right. So the compatibility bonus will change, and that will make a huge difference. If the compatibility bonus changes, um, then it's supposed to be a buff. I don't think it's supposed to be a debuff. So if the compatibility bonus changes in such a way so that it's actually easier to get a double circle, then in theory, that should also make it easier to inherit white skills and also inherit, in theory, distances like mile s, mid distance s, etc. So we shall see. I mean, this is one of those things where people have high hopes for, and who knows. Okay, so number 4, the system for the group cards are going to change. So previously, one of the problems with the group cards is that it wouldn't last long. It will last just 2 to 4 turns. And not only that, sometimes when the group cards went into the zone, um, the group cards won't show up. So they have addressed that problem. They have said that, at least in theory, that the group cards, when they go into the zone might last longer, and that during the zone is on, the group cards should show up more often. Now, I don't think it's going to be 100%, but they're going to raise the chance that they show up to the practices more often. So hopefully that would fix things. So we shall see. Now, this is probably the most important part personally. Well, it's either the most important or the second most important part. And that is the changing in the skills. This is something that I think the Uma Musume devs need to do more often, at least once every 6 months, really. But well, at least they're doing it for this for anniversary, so that's commendable. So that's good. All right, so here we go. So there's a number of categories. The category of the trigger qualifications being eased. So this actually makes it easier for the skills to proc. A category of the uh, trigger timing, or trigger qualifications are going to change. That's what it says here. The trigger timing is going to change. The skill effects are going to be buffed. The skill duration is going to be lengthened. The skill effects are going to be changed. And the skill effects is going to be a new skill effect is going to be added to the existing skill effect. And so, this is like a whole bunch of skills that's going to change. So let's, go through them. I don't want to go through them, one by one, but I probably should. All right. So here we go. Trigger qualifications will be eased. So presents from X. So this Christmas Bio Hayahide. Uh, presence from X. I believe that the problem with this is that only you have to be from first to fourth place for this skill to proc at the moment that it needs to proc. That's probably going to be increased to like first to fifth place or something like that, and that makes it a little bit easier for me to use. Wedding Mayano Top Gun, I don't have Wedding Mayano, but Wedding Mayano Top Gun's flowery maneuver is going to be eased. So, I don't know how they're going to ease that, but, Go First Forever. This is the original Mihono Bourbon. So Go First Forever. This skill is going to be eased. One of the problems with this skill is that if you had a late start, or if got the effect of being rushed, then this would not happen. My guess is those either one or both will be dropped, so it'd be easier to happen. That's actually the same thing as Asian Flash's skill. This one here, Schwartz's Schwert. This one also, if you get a late start, or if you get rushed, it doesn't proc. I don't know if both, but one will be affected. Guten Appetit from Valentine Flash will also be eased as well. This one says you have to actually pass 3 times, and then you'll go faster. My guess is this is going to be reduced from 3 to 2. It'll be closer to basically Agnes Digital's thing, because Agnes Digital is you pass twice and you go faster. The reason why Rudolph is you to go 3 times is because you go very fast, and so that there's an impact there. I Never Goof Up by Meisho Doto is going to also be impacted as well. This one you have to pass. So my guess is instead of having to pass, the skill qualification is going to be E, so that you want there's a character that you can pass. So instead of actually passing, it's can you pass, and that will make a difference. And Drain for Rose. I don't have Vampire Rice, but the skill effects for Drain for Rose is this. So it says that if you are being chased by somebody, then this skill effect triggers. But instead of being chased, if you're just being targeted for being chased, then this skill is probably going to go off. That's probably what this means. So these are all buffs, right? The trigger qualifications are going to be eased. So there you go. So here are the skills from which the trigger qualifications will be eased. Jinsok Kadang. Jinsok Kadan is the famous skill that Tamama Cross and Winning Ticket. Winning Ticket is a character everybody's got. Jinsok Kadan here. The problem with this skill is that there's a limited range in which this will happen. So the range in which this will happen is going to be increased. So for betweeners, this will make life easier. The lower version of this will also happen. Norikai Jozu is the skill that Grass Wonder has. This skill also basically you have to be like 6th place or below. They're probably going to change that to 5th place or below, so that'll make the window open as well, so make it easier for betweeners for that skill to proc. Lightning Step, that's the skill that Teo has. Where's my Teo? Here she is. Right. The lower version of Lightning Step, will also be impacted as well. This probably also had a window opportunity of, like 4, 5, or 6 or whatever, in which it would have proc, but now that's actually be eased, so it actually makes it easier. Ninoya is a weird skill. It's a skill that you get from your support card, Seiyun Sky, the SR intelligence version. Where is she? Here she is. And this basically says that if you're not at the front, then your acceleration will slightly increase in the middle of the race. So since this is the skill easing, then this basically means the acceleration will happen even if you're number 1, which Doesn't make any logical sense in Japanese, but what the heck, that's what it means. So even if you're in the first place position, if you're a runner, your acceleration will happen. Now, this is probably going to be impacted somewhere else as well. Here it is. The timing is going to change. So it's not just going to be in the middle of the race. It's going to be at a different race as well. It's going to be at a different timing as well. So we don't know when that's going to be. But if they change it to like, the moment that you enter the middle of the race, there's that moment that you accelerate a little bit at that moment, you'll get a little bonus in acceleration. That might be what that skill is going to do. Um, so that was Ninoya. We don't have Sainensho. The gold skill version doesn't exist yet in the game. Senpuku Taisei, this is the skill that is given by Zen no Robroy. You know, this basically didn't go off if you were too far out in the front. Now that will be ease. So if you're instead of being like whatever it be, it's going to be a little bit easier for this skill to proc. Senpuku Taisei, Kishi Kaisei, otherwise known as one chance or no chance, was a skill that was given by Shiryu Simboli. This is the skill where your acceleration will happen. This is going to get a big buff because not only will it be easier for it to proc, I think this used to be 5th place and below. So if it's going to be ease, it's going to be 4th place and below, which means between not just betweeners, but everybody up until leaders might be able to actually use this skill. And not only is Kichi Kaisei going to get a bump in terms of the ability to be procking, it's going to get a boost in duration as well. So this character, personally, I think is going to have a huge impact. Is going to get buffed big because she has both this, and full throttle. Like all three of these skills are going to get a huge buff in are going to get a huge buff in what do you call it in the February 24th balance changes. So Summer Measure Double is actually someone that I'm actually taking a look at and seeing how things are going to change. So Sainensho, Senpuku Taisei, Kishi Kaisei, Kien Banjo, and Daitan Futeki. So Daitan Futeki is this skill here. This basically had a qualification where you had to be in the middle of the pack, and that's probably going to increase. Kien Banjo or To Soshin is also something similar. You probably had to be in the middle of the pack for that skill to proc, and now that's going to be eased as well. So there you go. All right. So the trigger qualifications are going to change. This basically means that Zenshin Zende, this is famous skill that regular special week has and Narita Brian has. This skill here, the trigger qualification, no, the trigger timing is going to change. Sorry. Trigger qualification. Damn it, I went too fast. So I did trigger qualification will be eased. Trigger qualification will change. So this is it here. So that's white tail. The qualification is going to change. So this is going to change. So instead of closing the gap, I think if you that would actually be ease. So I don't know what's going to change here, but something is going to change in which the qualification is going to change. It just might be that they just drop this altogether and you just go fast. So Teo step is going to be buffed. Vaudeville by Fujikiseki is going to be buffed as well. This skill was famous for not proccing at all. I tried this skill. This doesn't proc it. This proc very rarely. So it might just be this that you're just going to go fast. So that's going to change. In the name of the strongest, White McQueen. Uh, this one here. This is also going to change as well. It's my guess is these are all going to be buffs. So the various qualifications basically are going to be dropped. That's what this means for qualification will change. Blue Rose Chaser is going to change as well. So Rice is getting a big buff here too. So it says here that you have to pass. So you have to pass is probably just going to be dropped. And Jordan's vivid time is going to change. So this skill, you have to pass, or you have to be the gap has to be closed by the people behind you. That's probably also going to be changed so that she'll go fast no matter what happens. So these are probably buffs as well. In terms of skills, trigger qualification of Koten Isoku. Koten Isoku is the famous skill that Power Vodka used to give, or does give. It's the skill that Minor Top Gun has. It's the skill that people were avoiding. So the the qualification will change. So they might just drop the line, straight line. So it might just be like a recovery in the mid part of the race or something like that. Who knows? But that's going to change. So that's actually a good change, probably. Shippu Doto is the skill that the Hishi Amazon had, if I'm not mistaken. Where is Hishi Amazon? She should be in the 4-star part. There she is. Yep, Shippudoto here. This is going to change as well. So I don't know how this is going to change. Maybe it's just going to drop, whether you're in the back, that part's just going to be dropped, and then, that will change. Shori no Shunen, this is also going to change. This is, you have to be passed for it to proc that. You have to be past part is just going to be dropped or something like that. I don't know what's going to happen here. And the other one that's big is probably going to be Manhattan Cafe's skill. God, I have a lot of characters. Manhattan Cafe skill, relax. This is going to change. So instead of having a gold recovery after the acceleration phase starts, the presumption is that the gold recovery is going to happen before the acceleration phase starts. Uh, so this would actually be inadvertently a buff to Christos Ogurikep. But this is totally useless for Manhattan Cafe, so I can see why they're going to change this, because you know that hurts this character. Nobody would be using that character as that skill from that character. That would be pointless. I don't think any support card gives out the skill of relax, but once it changes, there might be characters, support cards that actually give out that skill. And Reisei Chinchaku. Reisei Chinchaku is the skill that Ayabe-san has. It's also the skill that Welfare Air Shakur gives as well. But this is a skill where it was also known to not proc at all. That's going to change the not the timing, but the trigger qualification will change completely. So there you go. All right. And then now here, the timing is going to change. Trigger timing. So here are the skills for the trigger timing is changing. Zenshin Zende or Suyash. This is the skill that I was talking about earlier with Special Week. Where's she? Just towards the top here. All body, all soul. This is going to proc at the right moment so that it doesn't happen at the end of the last spurt. I'm pretty sure. Norikai Jozu is going to change. That's the timing is going to change. So not only is it going to be easier for it to proc, the timing is going to change. So what this means is that it's probably going to be like Sweep Tosho's gold skill. Sweep Tosho, the intelligence Sweep Tosho SSR skill. It's going to be like that, and it's going to happen towards the beginning of the acceleration phase. Shippudo shikake batsugun, sprint turbo. Shippudoto's timing is going to change. So the problem with this skill is that it would proc, and you're in the middle of the acceleration phase, so it's actually kind of useless. This is probably going to proc like uh, Zenshin Zende is my guess, right? I mean, these are all guesses, and that's why partly I don't want to do this. Sprint Turbo is going to change as well. Sprint Turbo is Sakura Bakushingo skill. So the timing, I don't know what. So this is either it's going to happen towards the beginning or the end. That's how it was designed. Now it's probably going to be towards the end. So it would be an acceleration skill that's going to be useful for everybody. So not just Bakushingo, but Sprint Turbo, I think, is given out by SSR Pico Pegasus. No, that's Plan X. But anyway, whoever gives out Sprint Turbo is going to be useful. Ruler of the Mile, that's a skill that Take Shuttle has, right? This is going to have an impact on the timing. Ruler of the Mile is not this one, but the other one. Yep. Right, these are skills that Take Shuttle has and gives. That's going to change. Cooldown, the timing is going to change as well. So this might just be in this during the middle of the race and the straight lines. So that's actually a skill that Rice Shower, I believe, had as well. Man, they're really going to buff Rice Shower. Onisamas of the world are going to be very happy. So cooldown is going to be buffed for long distance. Acceleration, Axel Zenkai, that's this skill, is going to be buffed as well. So it says this Chuban. My guess is this is going to happen towards the end of the middle of the race, so that it would be an acceleration skill that might be effective, kind of like Somni of the Curve if it happens at the right moment. Sainensho, Ninoya, I talked about that earlier. Relax, I talked about that. Tsubazeriai is the skill that Summer Tech Shuttle has. This is the skill that Power, Daiwa Scarlet, and Guts KS Miracle gives. This skill is probably going to be in line with what's her name skill, Sweep Tosho's skill for chasers. So chasers, betweeners, and leaders are all going to get a buff in terms of their acceleration skill. And Kishi Kaise will be a skill that will be useful for everybody as well. Well, not everybody, but it'll be useful for leaders, chasers, and betweeners. It won't be useful for runners for sure. So this skill is going to get a buff in terms of the timing. So trigger timing. Okay, so increase the effect of the skill. Dance Seven Sky skill. Dance Sky, where are you? There you are. Do your braking. This was a skill that was pretty awful in terms of the acceleration. The acceleration is probably going to be beefed because it says that the effect of the skill is going to increase. And Kien Banjo is also going to be increased as well. Kien Banjo is a skill that I think you get it from the SSR Iconodictus card. And it's a skill that nobody used because it was just too ineffective as well. So that's also going to get a big buff, hopefully. uh, Kien Banjo's lower version is this one here, Osoro no Kokoro. I believe Kien Banjo. Just double check. No, Osoro no Kokoro is Daitan Futeki. Kien Banjo's Tousoshin. Yeah, Tousoshin's. Who has Tousoshin? Doesn't really matter. But yeah. Okay, so to increase the lasting time of the skill, so Opera O had a powerful skill which increased speed very much, but it only lasted for a very short time, so it wasn't actually that powerful. It seemed powerful when it first came out, but it turned out to be not that powerful. This would be like a perfect skill for people like Ricky. because you're gonna have a lot of skills that proc. So if you proc more than 7 times, then you're actually gonna increase your speed very much. If you're opero and a lot, you're going to increase your speed normally if you're anybody else. But it only lasted for a short time, so the duration is going to last. So it's going to be a normal good skill, basically on par with people like Rudolph and Brian, which is really you know belated because Opera is one of the amazing horses. She's a horse that actually she's the only horse that won the Grand Slam, that won every single G1 race in that year that she could run. It's like it's a feat that no other horse has ever done in Japanese racetrack horse track racing. And so it's like, why are you so weak? It just didn't make any sense. And now they're going to buff her, so that's actually quite good. So TM Opero skill is going to get a big buff in terms of the lasting time. And Autumn Rudolph skill is also going to get a buff as well. Autumn Rudolph skill, this is not on par with this skill here that she has. So this skill is going to be extended so that although she doesn't go very fast, it's going to have a similar effect and make her on par with a triple crown horse. So there you go. That's Simbori Rudolph's skill. That's going to get a buff in terms of the length. So, all right. Regular skills. So regular skills in which the lasting time is going to be increased is Hayate Ichimonji. This is the skill that Nishino Flower gives. So that's going to be buffed. This is the skill. The lower version of the skill is a skill that Kita-san Black gives, so everybody knows that skill. Keshino Kakugo is Aritake. This is the skill that Tachyon gives as a scenario link. This is going to be This is going to last longer, so it's going to be stronger than Zenshin Zende. Kichi Kaise, the skill that I talked about earlier, and the one that the Serious Symboli gives. Not this one, sorry. It's the skill that Summer Dobar has. This is going to last longer. This only lasted for 1.2 seconds previously. Hopefully this would be double the length, 2.4 seconds, if not 3 seconds, like the other acceleration skills, and then it'll be very powerful. Kien Banjo, Tososhin is going to last longer, and Daitan Futeki, this is going to last longer as well. So there you go. General buffs all around by lasting longer. So now the effect of the skill is going to be impacted here. So this is changing the effect of the skill. So Shooting Star, they're going to change the effect of Shooting Star again. I don't know what they're going to do to this. So already the acceleration is going to happen and she's going to go faster. So if the effect is going to change, I don't know. Is it going to go up very fast, or is it both going to be accelerate and go up fast? Speed and acceleration both going to go up. I don't know. I don't know what's going to change, but it's going to be a buff most likely. Can't imagine them debuffing special week at this point. Ninoya is going to get a buff, so it might not just be acceleration. No, wait, that would be adding effect. So I don't know. And Uomishing and Full Throttle. Uomishing and Full Throttle is a skill that Stamina Rudolph gives. The lower version is a skill that she has. Skill no Koka said. So the problem here is that you use a lot of stamina, or the thing that stamina translates into, to increase your speed. So instead of using a lot, they might actually reduce this to a little, and that would actually put it in line with other skills, like the one that recently came out with what's her name, somebody Chris S. So stamina will be used, but not a lot. Is probably what's going to happen, and then people will use Full Throttle. Okay. And then new effects will be added to the following skills. So, 危険の使命 or 危険の使命を果たすべく so I gotta change that. 危険の使命を果たすべく that would be white, and that would be black McQueen, the original McQueen. Here we go. So, an extra effect is going to be added. So maybe acceleration, right? Because this is just speed. I don't think it's going to be health. I don't see the point of adding health to that. So acceleration will probably be added to this skill. Biwa Hayahide, the original Biwa Hayahide is over here. Win QED, this is going to be impacted. So it's going to be easier to proc, and it's going to have an extra effect, probably of acceleration. Go First Forever by Mihono Bourbon is also going to have an extra effect. Drain for Rose, Vampire Rice, is also going to have an extra effect. So extra effect. And Schwartz Swart is also going to have an extra effect. So let's just double check. I'm pretty sure Bourbon is just speed right now. So the extra effect is probably going to be acceleration. My guess is they're going to do the same with this skill here because it's in a similar boat. So speed and acceleration is going to be added, and drain for Rose. What's going to be added here? So this is just a recovery skill. So what they might do is they might add a speed component to this one. And so that would actually buff Vampire Rose as well. Okay. And then the following skills are going to also get an impact and new effects. So Ryodo no Moshigo is a skill that only Dober has, the original Dober, this skill here. So this is going to increase stamina and intelligence. And my guess is it's also going to increase, uh, I don't know, speed, power. One or the other is probably going to increase. Ichijin no Kaze is a skill that no, Ichijin no Kaze is a skill that the SSR Teo card gives. Who has Ichijin no Kaze as a character? I don't remember. But it's an acceleration skill, and it's going to have a new effect, so it's probably going to be speed. They're going to add speed to the acceleration effect. Hagane no Ishi once again. Hagare no Ishi is that skill that Kiryuin used to give. People laugh because it was totally useless. It was a skill that even Happy Meek wouldn't get. Now Hagare no Ishi is going to have an extra effect, so it won't just be recovery, it might be speed, who knows. But a new effect will be added to Hagare no Ishi, so people will actually take that skill. The problem is that the Hagare no Ishi was also given out by Stamina Satono Diamond, and nobody would use that card, so that's probably why they're going to buff that skill. Kajiba no Bakajikara is the skill that Stamina Rice gives as a, it's a welfare Stamina Rice card, and that was also a skill that nobody used, so, it might have a new effect. No, it's going to have a new effect, probably speed. And Doto no Oiage or Oiage, that's a skill that Measure of Bright, the stamina Measure of Bright, I think, gives. And that's also going to be impacted as well with a new effect. It might be an acceleration effect, that would be my guess. So those are the major changes in skills that's going to happen, and that's why it's pretty important. I think it's the most important change, but it's possibly the second most important, because the second most important change might be the last bit here, changing the system of racing. Oh, and so uh, not the changing the adding a new system, ashi o tameru. Changing the racetrack course, this is a minor change. Most people don't have to worry about this. People who care about this will actually tell us where things are going to impact, so that's fine. So the racetrack info, I'm going to skip, and I'm going straight to the new system, ashi o tameru, or saving the leg, I guess would be the English translation. So basically what they're saying is if your power is over 1200, then Uh, if the Uma Musume is racing according to her positioning, you can save your leg. And if you save your leg, then at the moment when you start to accelerate, you'll have a full leg and you'll get a boost to acceleration. So the reason why this is important is because acceleration skills, like white acceleration skills, gave something like 2,000, and gold acceleration skills gave something like 4,000 boost to acceleration. And if you have power 1,200, um, I think you only get like 1,000 acceleration. So like the power 100 that you have is actually lower, and the acceleration that you get from your power is actually lower than the white acceleration skills that's available. And this is the reason why acceleration skills are so powerful in this game. Now, if they increase the acceleration that you can get from power to something equivalent to a gold acceleration skill, then immediately all the gold acceleration skills become less effective, because the more you have acceleration skills, each one added has less and less impact. It's an asymptomatic curve. So it all depends on the numbers here. If the Ashio Tameru or the saving the leg schema gives a lot more bonus to acceleration than what it currently exists, then almost all the acceleration skills become immediately less important, right? Because you already have acceleration from your character as a built-in thing. But if the saving the leg, function is only going to give you, I don't know, like is going to boost your acceleration to like that of a white acceleration skill, then the acceleration skills will be still effective, but not as effective. So and if they give only a minor boost, then the acceleration skills will be just as effective as before. I don't know which one they will choose. I really don't know, because if you stop for a moment to think about it, you have to look at this from a business perspective. They want to sell cards, so but they also want people to pull for characters, and if the characters are weak, they won't pull for characters. So there's probably some, they probably need to hash this. There probably was like a big giant, discussion over side games on how powerful do you want this saving the leg uh, thing to do, and depending on how powerful the saving the leg is, everything that I just talked about, you know, the importance is going to be minor. But it might, but all the changes might actually be important. I don't know. Everything is still up in the air. This is one of the points where it's actually interesting to daydream what's going to happen in the future. And then, once the changes actually do happen on the 24th, everything is going to change. So we shall see. All right, so that's it. I talked a lot. This is pretty freaking long. I'll stop here, and I guess I'll see you guys around. This was the balance changes that was announced on February 16th. And this is my translation thereof. All right, take it easy, guys, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.